And hello again, Northeast Ohio, and welcome in to what's new on this beautiful, gorgeous Tuesday fall afternoon. Thanks so much for spending time with us alongside Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy, a very good Tuesday afternoon to you and to everyone watching from home.
Yeah, lots of stuff to talk about today. We've got Leaf update for everybody. We have some entertainment news to bring you. But first, at 5, we have big news from the FDA that could come as early as tomorrow. They're expected to approve mixing and matching booster shots as early as tomorrow. They're also expected to approve Moderna and J&J's booster shots.
Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, joins us now on the set of What's New to talk about this and to tell us what this means for all of us. Monica, a very good afternoon to you. We call it the toolbox, and it appears that in just a very short order here, we're going to have a couple more tools to fight this COVID-19.
Yeah, it does look like that. You know, this could be really big tomorrow. The New York Times reporting the FDA is poised to not only approve booster shots for Johnson & Johnson and Moderna vaccines, but also allow people to mix and match vaccine boosters. We'll have to wait for the official guidance, but don't be surprised if they suggest sticking with the same brand if possible. The benefit, though, is the ability to use another if there's a shortage, and they're not saying one is better than the other. Now, a federally funded study found that those who got the J&J shot initially and then received a Moderna booster saw antibody levels rise 76-fold in 15 days. That's compared to a 4-fold increase after an extra dose of J&J. Now, keep in mind, the mix and match study only looked at antibody levels, not the levels of immune cells ready to attack the virus.
You don't have to worry about getting a Moderna shot if you got Moderna before, or Pfizer shot if you got Pfizer before. You really can get any of the vaccines as a booster, and it will work just as well as if you got the original.
So the FDA is expected to announce its decision tomorrow evening. Meanwhile, a CDC advisory committee will discuss boosters Thursday and then issue its own recommendation. By the end of the week, though, tens of millions of more Americans could be eligible for those extra shots. Now, what we don't know, and hopefully it will be made clear during the announcement, is what dosage of Moderna's vaccine might be authorized for use as a booster for recipients of other vaccines. Last week, the advisory committee voted unanimously to recommend Moderna recipients receive a third shot of that vaccine as a booster, but only at half a dose. So there's still a lot of things out there that we're going to have to bear in mind. And remember, you know, this might just be more convenient for states who are like needing more shots. And maybe if they're down the road there comes another shortage, that'll be at least an option.
Well, you know, I go back to when the vaccines were first rolled out. You were telling us about, oh, what's coming, these are coming, and they're built on different platforms, you called them. They're each a little bit different. So probably before you get a booster shot, if you have the opportunity to mix and match, you should do a little research yourself and find out which one's going to be the best for you.
Talk to your doctor, talk to your pharmacist. Absolutely, that's the first thing I would do.
All right, well, Pfizer's already approved their booster shot. So the big question would be, you know, if we can flip to Moderna or J&J and everybody starts mixing around, who pays for all that? Or is it all covered the same way as the original group?
Betsy Kling pays for it. That's
I'm sorry, everybody. Y'all forget the booster thing.
Our heart just skipped a couple of beats.
Yeah, you know, I know it did. So the federal government will cover the cost of a different vaccine as a booster only if the FDA authorizes it. So if this comes down tomorrow and you're not sure what to do, again, the best advice is you really need to talk to your doctor or pharmacist about your options. And again, remember, even the guys who did the study said this research still needs to be looked at. They had a very small, limited number of volunteers for this study. So, you know, really talk to your doctor about what's best for you.
Wow.
All right. Thanks, Mom.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Okay, next up on your feed at 5, we have an update on the story we shared yesterday involving the 17 missionary workers who were kidnapped in Haiti. They're all part of an Ohio-based group called Christian Aid Ministries, and that group is confirming now that 5 of the missing are indeed children, and those children range in age from 8 months to 15 years old. The other 12 missing are ages 18 to 48. Now a church in Detroit is saying 5 of the kidnapped are members of their congregation who traveled to Haiti earlier this month. Also new today, the Wall Street Journal is reporting the gang that took these 17 is now seeking a $17 million ransom, $1 million per person, Gang violence getting worse in the country of Haiti. Our sister station in Indianapolis spoke to a man who was shot in Haiti during a mission trip back in 2011.
We resisted. They started shooting, then busted out the windows, and it just all hell broke loose. One of the eeriest sounds of that night was when it got silent. And then when the guy said, "Oh my God," I can hear him reloading.
Absolutely terrifying. In this latest case, the group was returning from a visit to an orphanage when they were kidnapped. The FBI is now involved in a coordinated U.S. government effort to get the Americans back to safety. We'll have more on this disturbing story coming up at 6 o'clock on What Matters Most.
Well, if predictions are on track, this could be the most expensive winter in 12 years. That's because heating prices are through the roof. We sent our Lindsey Buckingham to talk with the experts about why we're expecting to see sky-high heating costs.
Cold weather, the last of our worries this winter, because the U.S. government expects heating bills to jump as much as 54% compared to last year. That means just about any way you heat your home is going to be more expensive, whether it's natural gas, propane, or heating oil.
But basically, it's supply and demand. Demand has gone up, especially for natural gas this summer and into the winter. Part of that is because of Hurricane Ida in August, would shut down nearly all of the oil production and natural gas production in the Gulf of Mexico.
Sean Nagel, general manager of Bay Heating and Air Conditioning, says there's a number of factors affecting business.
We're in the midst of a major labor shortage for skilled labor. So the other thing we're seeing is there's a shortage of equipment, pieces, parts, the whole nine. Even seeing backups where parts that we would have the next day, we might not have for 2 or 3 weeks. And once again, as things get short, then the cost goes up.
So to keep prices down when that cold hits, Nagel said there are things you can do. 1, schedule your thermostat if you go out of town, or if you're just gone for a few days, set it to 65. And don't forget this.
Running your fan continuously helps you from feeling like you have to turn your heating up when it gets very cold, because it'll keep the house more temperate all the time. So even though it does cost a little more to run your fan all the time, it's cheaper than when we get a cold snap and turning it up to 75 or 76 and trying to heat your house all at once.
And because those natural gas prices are so high this winter, that means you'll probably feel it at the pump too. And as simple as it sounds, things like reducing the demand, planning ahead, and shopping around for the best deals can help save you money. We've got great tips on WKYC.com. And Betsy, the good news for these guys, I don't think they're going to be making too many heating calls because it is absolutely beautiful out here right now.
Yeah, that's today. We have tomorrow, and then things get a little bit more realistic as we head through the end of the week. You know, Lindsay, I can't help but think another tip for folks is just put another layer of clothing on, and, you know.
Absolutely.
You'll be able to save money that way, and good old-fashioned electric blankets. Love those. All right, thanks
Bundle
so much.
up.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Well, we already knew Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield had a torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder. He suffered that back in week 2. And we all saw that nasty-looking play where it appeared that same non-throwing shoulder, the left one, was bent awkwardly out of position and one of Mayfield's 2 fumbles. That happened in Sunday's ugly loss to the Cardinals. The question now, will Baker Mayfield be ready to go in just 2 days? Because that's when the Browns will welcome in the Denver Broncos over at First Energy. The voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan, is here now with more on that. Jim, what do we know?
It's been quite a day out in Berea. It really has. All right, Baker Mayfield, according to him, Jay, he wants to go on Thursday night. He wants to play on Thursday night. So we did clarify the torn labrum situation. Remember, originally we said it was partially torn. Now we find out it is totally torn and has been totally torn since the original injury back in the Browns home opener against the Texans. And Mayfield's been told by the medical officials it's not going to get any worse. Okay, it is torn. That's the way it's going to be. They can address it at the end of the season, or they could address it right now, and he could not play if the pain management cannot be controlled. So it's up to him right now. He says that if he can handle the pain management and take better care of it out on the field, he fully intends that he should play on Thursday night against the Denver Broncos. Here he is.
I have to make that decision. Only I know how my body feels. And if anyone questions whether, I'm hindering the team and going out there injured, that's just not right. So it's my decision. I get to say, whether I'm able to play or not, and that's just how it is.
All right, let's go to the Browns running back situation and clarify that. Kareem Hunt was formally put on the injured reserve list, so that means he's going to miss at least 3 games. Now remember, it is projected he's going to miss more than that with a significant calf injury. Tough luck, everybody. Nick Chubb is definitely not ready to go on Thursday night's game against the Denver Broncos. So the Browns running backs will be, the number 1 guy will be Dearness Johnson. The number 2 guy is Demetric Felton. They'll elevate a kid that played pretty well during the preseason, Johnny Kelly, who played very well. But Jay and everybody, Johnny Kelly played very, very well, but he played very well running against the number 4 defense of the Atlanta Falcons. This is very different now coming in here on Thursday night. Jay, I want to go back to the Mayfield situation. Yeah. It's fascinating because he is saying, I am the one that's going to make the decision.
Is that true?
Well, and then Kevin Stefanski was asked about it later on when he addressed the media, and he said, like in every situation regarding a player, when he's injured, I go through all of the protocols. We check with the medical people. We check with the coaching staff. And certainly we check with the player. But Mayfield made it seem like it's his decision and his decision alone. Now, the key part was going to happen after the media left Berea today. Mayfield was taken out onto the field, and he was going to throw. And they were going to deal with the pain situation there and see how that is. I would think, Jay, if the coaches felt that he could not perform at a level that was going to help them be productive on Thursday night, then they would weigh in on this thing and say, you know what, maybe it's time for Case Keenum to play. Baker Mayfield does not have to prove to you, to me, or to anybody out there that he's a tough, and certainly to his teammates, he's a tough guy, and he wants to win. And he, in fact, came out today and said, we have to win this game Thursday night. It's big. I want to play in the game Thursday night because I think we can win, and I think I can get it done, and we have to have this game. So it's a fascinating situation going on. The other thing is, too, Jay, there's a little gamesmanship. Who are the Broncos preparing for? Yeah. Mayfield or Case Keenum? And remember, the last time the Browns beat the Broncos, they beat Case Keenum as the Broncos quarterback.
Oh, that's true. Interesting.
Just a little tidbit there.
We didn't even touch on the tackles, but Von Miller of the Broncos said he doesn't care who is at tackle for the Browns. He plans to, quote, kill them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well.
He's one of the best.
One of the best there, yeah.
All right, Jimmy, thanks. We'll see you with more on the Browns coming up at 6 o'clock.
All right, Jay.
Next on What's New, a big name in country music is coming to Northeast Ohio. Stephanie Haney caught up with him, and we'll hear some of that interview coming up. In the meantime, another beautiful night here in the CLE, and guess who is back from vacation?
I wouldn't call it a vacation, Betsy. Did a lot of laundry and cleaning, but, back in house. It's nice to be here. Fall sports forecast tonight. Beautiful evening, and it's ongoing. It will cool quickly once that sun goes down. We're back into the 50s. As Betsy alluded to earlier, we've got some changes coming in the forecast. We'll take you through those coming up.
Which is very excited to be coming to Ohio for this star-studded event.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Well, a lot of folks know that song. It's by country music stars Big and Rich. And John Rich of the duo is coming to Ohio for a charity concert to benefit veterans. That is coming on November 10th. It's going to be at the Lorraine Palace Theater. Our Stephanie Haney here now, of course.
Stephanie, you got to talk with John about the event on your 3 Things to Know podcast. I'm wondering if I'm sure he gave you hints. What should fans at the show expect? What are we going to see?
He gave me so many details. He is very excited about coming to Ohio for this. Now, the proceeds, they all benefit the Travis Mills Foundation, which supports what they call recalibrated veterans. These are service members who lost limbs in combat. Now, here's what John told me about what we'll see at the show.
Now more than ever, it's important to support things like the Travis Mills Foundation. So I'm showing up with a guitar and a tour bus, and I'm going to be laying out Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy and all your other favorite Big and Rich songs. But then we're going to be singing songs about America. I've got a song called The 8th of November about a Vietnam vet. We'll be bringing people up on stage, recognizing them for their service to our country. Maxton Soviak's family is going to come. So you've got yourself a situation here where you've got some of America's greatest heroes. You've got Gold Star families now showing up. This is everybody's chance to buy a ticket to something that you know is going to be put to good use. You know, we don't serve in the military, so the least we can do is support them by doing things like this event that we're going to do. I hope the place is packed.
Now, the Travis Mills Foundation is named after Staff Sergeant Travis Mills, who runs it all. He's just one of 5 veterans of the war in Iraq to lose all 4 limbs and survive. But you would not know it to see him. Just check out his Instagram page for proof of that. And Travis Mills will be at the show as well. And here's something else to keep in mind. Dave Mortosh of Mortosh Financial and his wife Sophie, they are matching donations for this event to the tune of $500,000.
Whoa.
Jay and Betsy. And I do believe that includes the price of concert tickets in those donations.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
What a move.
Next question, of course. Who else might be making special appearances? Did they spill the beans on that?
I am so glad you asked because, yes, legendary former Cleveland Browns quarterback Bernie Kosar will also be there. John told me he's going to ask Bernie to throw him a pass. And there'll be a meet and greet there, so you'll get the opportunity to potentially see that. And that's only, you can add that on for $100 to meet all of those guys.
Wow, that's good. As long as they don't ask Bernie to sing, we're good. Bernie will be the first to admit he can't sing.
Not a singer.
But he can still throw a football. So
sure
that'll be fun. That's a great cause, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to it.
They absolutely are. So if you want to find out where to find the whole podcast and also get your tickets, you can find that linked at wkyc.com/3 things to know, and that's where you can find all of that.
All right, very cool. Other projects coming down the pike, I'm sure, as well. Thank you, Stephanie. We'll see you clicking in Cleveland next half hour.
Yep. See you in a bit.
All right.
Well, it's now time to turn to weather. I now reintroduce the one, the only.
It's been a minute.
The person that everybody is asking, where the heck is that guy?
Yeah.
Matt.
You're not allowed to take any more days off, Matt.
Ever.
Yeah, right.
And by the way, that's okay with him.
Yeah.
Because your weather word today is rested.
Oh, aren't you so well rested?
I use that tongue in cheek because he told me earlier in the newsroom today, I need a vacation.
Vacation from vacation.
Yeah, my wife and I usually coordinate vacations, and she didn't take a day off. And so I was like, wait, I have the whole day with the kids now versus, and so it was just a little bit taxing, that's all. But the house is clean and, the laundry's done. That's good news. Till tomorrow. But guys, what a day to either have vacation or be coming back from vacation. We started chilly this morning. We were in the 30s and the 40s outside, very fall-like, right? Southwest wind this afternoon. It's been kind of gusty, pretty nice outside, all things considered. Boy, did that warm our temperatures. We're up into the 70s right now, 60s up towards the lakeshore areas. Look at that lake water temperature sitting at 66 degrees offshore. The average lake water temperature right now is 60, so we're about 6 degrees above where we should be. Does that spell lake effect snow season? We'll see. It's a little early to tell on that. Right now, we're not talking lake effect snow. We're not even talking clouds. Clear skies as high pressure remains in charge of our forecasts. Off towards the west, we do have a little interval of clouds that'll work through tonight. Big picture, though, it's very warm across the eastern half of the the country. We have now slid on the other side of the high pressure, so we're on the warmer side. System out in the Plains states, not a big storm system. This will put down a good 5 to 8 inches of snow in Wyoming, but this will eventually crunch its way down towards the south. So that cool air has been rested over the last couple days, but you can see it's going to start to move back in as it gets some legs on it. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. We're in the 40s again tonight, 50s near the lakeshore, not quite as cool tomorrow morning. Beautiful start to your Wednesday. We should start with sunshine. Day very similar to today. We have a nice southwest wind tomorrow. Clouds will start to fill in later in the day, though. Should make it up into the 70s. We introduce rain chances tomorrow night, and that will continue on into Thursday. Keep in mind, Browns playing on Thursday at home, so hopefully we can get the rain out of here early, but definitely a showery look to the Thursday pattern. Not a washout, just some rain around here. Union Hill Mortgage 7-day. Look at the temperature slide on the backside of that front. Friday, Saturday may have some lake effect showers. We're in the 50s, and next week it looks like we have another bump in temps out ahead of another cool down. We'll talk more about that in the next half hour. We'll be back after this.
Hey Matt, we're talking about To All the Boys I've Loved, the trilogy. Okay.
All righty. Betsy and Key are laughing at me because I'm saying this first story really isn't in my wheelhouse. Betsy has seen them. It's time to get everyone up to date on the biggest stories from the entertainment world, and for that we introduce Kara Cotton.
I can't believe you haven't seen the trilogy of To All the Boys I've Loved before.
Yeah, it's on my to-watch list, and I can't seem to get that far down it.
It's one of those, like, mommy's had a couple glasses of wine, the kids are in bed. Why not?
Like the Lifetime movie deals?
It's one of those? Like tween love stories. It's just
cute. But I'll get you up to speed here.
Okay.
All right.
The cat's out of the bag. Well, in this case, we should say Kitty. Netflix has officially announced its latest spinoff, XO Kitty. It's based on the To All the Boys trilogy and will star the youngest Covey sister, Kitty, played by Anna Cathcart. Unlike the movies, XO Kitty is a 10-episode comedy series that follows Kitty as she moves across the world to reunite with her long-distance boyfriend while learning that relationships are complicated, especially when your own heart's on the line. A promotional video narrated by Cathcart says the character's love story is only just beginning. And Adele is not taking it easy on us. If you were impressed with her new single, the 33-year-old singer is back with a live concert featuring new music from her album and her biggest hits. The 2-hour special, Adele One Night Only, will air on CBS and Paramount Plus on November 14th, ahead of her album's release on the 19th. But that's not all. The Rolling in the Deep singer will also be interviewed by Oprah Winfrey. They'll talk the meaning behind her songs, life after divorce, her weight loss journey, and so much more. And The Weeknd is yet again delaying his After Hours tour. The tour was originally scheduled to begin in January, but has been pushed back to summer of 2022. The Canadian musician now wants fans to call out his name in stadiums instead of arenas. In a post on social media, the Blinding Lights singer wrote, "Due to constraints of arenas and the demand for more shows, I want to do something bigger and special for fans, which requires stadiums. Current ticket holders will be refunded and given the opportunity for priority purchase once the dates are announced." And last but certainly not least, country music superstar Luke Bryan is set to host this year's Country Music Awards. The ceremony will take place live from Nashville, Tennessee on November 10th.
He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
He seems to be everywhere. On The Weeknd, I wonder if it was after he performed at the Super Bowl and he's got this massive house and stadium. He's probably like, who wants to go back to small little closed-in arenas after you do that?
Especially if you can sell it out. And he's got the fan base for it, so.
He does.
He does.
Right,
Very
thanks
popular.
so much, Karen. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Still to come for us in the second half hour of What's New, a former member of the Cleveland Browns is claiming the way the NFL is distributing the settlement money from the brain injury lawsuit is racist. We'll hear from his lawyer.
Plus, you can finally see it around Northeast Ohio. We're 19 days into October now. But yes, the leaves are noticeably changing colors. And if it feels a little later than normal, it's because it is. Our leaf expert, Matt Wintz, will tell us why.
Hi, Cleveland. Yeah, I do.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We begin with 3 things you need to know now at 5:30. Tomorrow could be a big day in the world of vaccines. The New York Times is reporting that the FDA could approve booster shots for Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. The agency could also allow people to mix and match the vaccines. Now, there's a chance the FDA could suggest sticking with the same brand when possible, but the benefit of mixing is that if there's a shortage, then you'd be able to pick up a different one. Right now, they're saying one is better over the other. They are not saying one is better the over.
Number 2, it appears that Baker Mayfield re-injured that left shoulder. That's the non-throwing shoulder. Happened in the loss to the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. We all remember that awkward displacement of his left shoulder on that fumble. Right now, Baker himself believes he is okay to play, but noted the labrum is completely torn now and added other stuff in the area is frayed as well. Throw into the mix that there will be no Nick Chubb, there will be no Kareem Hunt, and perhaps others. We know JOK is also out. This could be an uphill climb. Thursday's game against the Denver Broncos is shaping up to be a huge one at First Energy.
And we're learning more about the missionaries kidnapped in Haiti over the weekend. According to Christian Aid Ministries, which is based in Holmes County here in Northeast Ohio, 5 kids are among the missing, one of them 8 months old. A church in Detroit says 5 of the victims are members of their congregation and arrived to Haiti earlier this month. Also new today, the Wall Street Journal is reporting the gang that took them is seeking a $17 million ransom. That's $1 million per person being held hostage. Scary stuff. And with that, we welcome you back to What's New. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford.
Betsy, good Tuesday afternoon to you and to everyone watching at home. What a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Just an absolute postcard day for October 19th, no less. Here we are less than 2 weeks away from November.
Yeah.
And it really feels like we're just on the early fringe of fall, because now as I look out the window, it seems like it's starting to happen. Those colors are starting to change.
We're getting the cool, crisp nights, the warm, sunny afternoons. This is what we typically feel like we should be having, except when you look around, you should be seeing crimson and gold. But it's still green for the most part. And that is our top talker today. The leaves are finally starting to change to some beautiful fall colors. And yes, they are turning a little bit later this year.
Our resident leaf expert, Matt Wintz, joins us now. And Matt, when I called him a leaf expert going to the last commercial, looked at me like, what am I?
He really fast read some stuff.
Yeah.
You call it Google, right?
You know, we did do this earlier this month, and I said I thought Halloween would be peak this year, right? So we still got some time. We're getting that color, as you guys mentioned, but we all know it's been warmer than average so far, especially late September on into the month of October. And I put that together on a graphic. This is the last 45 days versus average. You can see much of the eastern half of the country has been above average. What we need, right, for the cool, crisp nights that we have, our temperatures pretty much in the 40s, and what we've had have been temperatures generally in the 50s and 60s at nights. We could use 40s because you get the sunshine that helps produce that sugar in the leaves, and when you have the cool air at night, it traps that. That's how you get the vibrant colors. So we're still going to have fall color around here. That's going to be no matter what due to the longer nights that we have. But in terms of the vibrant colors, we're not really going to see that a whole lot because we've had such a warm streak, but the golds and the oranges should be fine. So where are the colors right now? Well, we're starting to see some changes here. The orange colors are the reports of some near peak conditions. So down towards the Mansfield area, Holmes County, starting to see some pretty good color there. Probably another week or two on that. Rest of us across Northeast Ohio just seeing the changing right now. You go downstate if you're thinking about taking a road trip, still dealing with some green south of Columbus. They do have some changing colors down there as well. Temperatures like this, like we had this morning in the 40s, this helps. Again, it traps all that sugar in those leaves, helps the vibrant colors. So hopefully with more nights like this to come in the forecast, which we'll talk about in a little bit, we're going to see some nice colors here coming up over the next couple weeks. Guys?
It really sounded like he knew what he was talking about to me.
He does know what he's talking about.
Same thing in the weather forecast. I got you tricked.
Quit being humble.
Well, I can tell you this much. I'm becoming an expert on leaf blowing because they are really, now I'm starting to see with each day more and more of them in the backyard. Okay. Thank you, Matt. We'll see you soon. Our next top talker is about former Browns player Amon Gordon. The former defensive lineman briefly played for the Cleveland Browns, but during his time in the NFL, he suffered concussions. In fact, he believes he was concussed once a day. Gordon was diagnosed with dementia at 33 years old. 4 years ago, the NFL agreed to pay nearly $1 billion to former players who are dealing with long-term effects from concussions. But Gordon says he hasn't seen a penny of that money. NBC's Stephanie Gosk joins us now. Stephanie, good afternoon to you. Gordon says he's not alone here, and he says it's because of race norming. What is it, and how did it get into the league settlement?
Well, Jay, I'm going to take you back to the 90s, really. That's when medical experts realized that blacks were historically scoring lower on cognition tests. To explain that, they included this issue of race in these cognition tests without looking at what the specific underlying reasons were for that, things like socioeconomic background, education. And today, there are medical experts that believe this practice of using race is a oversimplification and actually perpetuates systemic racism. So how did it get into this settlement? Well, experts got together and trying to determine how players were affected from these concussions and whether they were experiencing dementia, and that's how it got in. Players say they had no idea it was in there, even though their lawyers in the league agreed on the settlement. They had no idea. They're furious, and they call it a racist settlement. The NFL denies that, saying it is not discriminatory, but either way, those race norms are getting thrown out of the settlement, and a proposal is due tomorrow in federal court.
Gordon had a near genius IQ when he graduated from Stanford University. Very, very bright young man. What is he saying now about his experience when it comes to dealing with the NFL, trying to get what he sees to be fair compensation?
Look, here's a young man. He's a father. He's married. He's unable to work. He played those years in the NFL as a defensive lineman because he says of those concussions and his dementia diagnosis, he has a hard time functioning even before noon on a typical day, and sometimes it can be the whole day. He cannot work. He's looking for help from this settlement. He applied with that diagnosis and made a claim to the settlement. At first, he was approved, and then it was appealed by the NFL. A judge said that a, quote, error was made in his approval without ever telling them what that error was. The couple believe it was because of this race norming, and that he would be an example of moving forward once this proposal gets approved to get rid of the race norming. He would be an example of a former player who may now qualify for some of this money, and we don't know how many there are, but there could be hundreds.
All right, I'm sure we haven't heard the last of this story. Stephanie Gosk, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Still ahead on what's new, a popular ice cream spot in Cleveland is saying goodbye. Stephanie Haney has all the details in Clicking in Cleveland.
Plus, in our Tech Tuesday report, the new Apple Macbook gains a feature users have been craving, and it loses one that users have been hating on for quite a while. All that is coming up. But first, Matt has our weather in a jiffy. And I have to say, Matt, we've missed this.
Yeah, I will tell you, I got a perfect one today. We actually installed, while I was on vacation, a webcam in your backyard, Jay.
Oh, nice.
To take
Very
a look
good.
at the dog. You have the dog doing the yard work?
Don't tell anyone.
Driving by on a tractor there. The whole point of this is, yeah, we've still got green grass out there. People still mowing lawns, and the dog is going for a ride. Beautiful picture. We've got your forecast next.
How did they get him to do that?
I have no idea.
All right, 5:41 right now in the city, and we do have a beautiful evening on our hands. Lots of folks out grilling tonight, kind of enjoying what fall is bringing us, but maybe get those plans wrapped up pretty soon.
Yeah, Betsy, it's interesting how we've developed the roller coaster ride of fall, right? I mean, it was chilly this weekend at times. We had the lake effect rain around, and boom, we just bounced back today. We're back into the 70s once again. We've got that nice southwest wind, and this is out ahead of our next pattern change, which will be arriving later this week. The ups and downs of fall, right? Beautiful tonight, though. Temperatures will drop off pretty quickly as we get past the sunset. Dry air in place. Dew points in the 40s right now. Remember, dry air heats up and cools down quickly. So you see as we go hour by hour, we're back in the 50s and 40s before we know it. Wind will be a little bit stronger tonight. It won't quite go calm, so we aren't expecting quite as cool conditions tomorrow morning, but still a nice fall, crisp morning tomorrow expected. We're quiet for now. Out towards the west, there's a little line of clouds. This is on a wind shift, which will bring warmer air in here over the next day or so. So we do expect some clouds. May have a nice sunset out towards Sandusky, the islands. Keep an eye on that as some of those high clouds float in. But the warmth is aplenty for the eastern half of the country, all the way up to the northern lakes. You notice that change. You see that demarcation line. There's a frontal boundary off towards the north. It connects with a stronger area, low pressure out in the plain states. This will head east over the next 2 days. It's not going to be that impressive of a system, but we are going to bring rain back into the forecast. Nothing particularly heavy, but that will arrive tomorrow night and Thursday. Big picture pattern, though. We were talking about this as a weather team earlier, just the cold air that is bottled up in Alaska. You head over towards Siberia. They've got some very cold air for this time of year as the jet stream and the polar vortex a little bit shifted out towards the western hemisphere there. But you can see for us, we remain on the mild side of things, so we'll continue to flirt with some cool over the next couple days. There's a little settling that's going to happen as we get into the weekend, but on into next week, things get interesting. The cool air up in Canada not only expands, but it sinks south. That will drive numerous weather systems into the west coast where they desperately need it. That will also make things a little bit more interesting on the home front. We'll have generally a warm-up next week out ahead of perhaps a pattern change. We'll see if that happens. So how's that translate on the surface map? Here's our rain as it moves through with your National Design Mart big picture look here on Thursday. Again, not a washout Thursday. We will have scattered showers. That will drive cooler air into northeast Ohio, perhaps some lake effect, kind of unsettled weather as we get it into Friday and Saturday. But out west, look at this massive low up into the Gulf of Alaska. Heavy rain. They're expecting 5 to 9 inches of rain in areas that have wildfires right now. Heavy mountain snow, and that's system 1 out of 3 over the next 7 days for them out on the west coast. Eventually, this will all translate east. We'll see how things play out next week. Models not agreeing on our local forecast, but heavy snow out west. In terms of rainfall, we're not expecting a lot here in northeast Ohio, but they're expecting a lot out towards the west coast. And again, that is a sign of that pattern change. Does it shift east quickly or does it take its time? That's the big question. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast, 72. Beautiful day tomorrow. Clouds will increase, though. We bring in shower chances tomorrow night. Thursday, scattered showers for the Browns game against Denver, and then scattered showers continue in the forecast Friday, Saturday, with another system moving in here next week. But overall, a fall-like weekend ahead after the warmth that we're dealing with right now.
Time to get that chili cooking, some apple cider warmed up. I love this time of the year.
Me too.
Thanks so much, Matt.
Yes.
Right now, time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. And for that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Steph.
Hi, Jay. All right, first, I have some not-so-sweet news to share. We are saying goodbye to one of Cleveland's favorite ice cream shops. Sweet Moses is closing after the owners say a deal fell through to sell the shop. They are serving the last scoop this Sunday, or maybe sooner if they run out. They posted on Facebook saying how much they've loved making this dream come alive in the Gordon Square Arts District, thanking everyone for the support since they first opened in 2011. Hey, if you want to get into the ice cream business, maybe you could be the person to save Sweet Moses. You never know. Okay, congratulations are in order for Case Western Reserve University for the 3rd year in a row. Wallet Hub ranks Case as the top college or university in the state of Ohio, beating out Kenyon and Oberlin College and Ohio State and Denison universities that round out the top 5. Case also ranked first in Ohio for gender and racial diversity and post-graduation median salary. Get that money. Overall, Case ranks number 46 in the study of 1,000 schools across the U.S. And our tour of spooky Halloween decor continues. If you'd like us to feature yours, by the way, send your pictures and videos our way through the WKYC app or text those photos to 216-344-3300. Now, you have to check out this home in green on Wildflower Drive. Look at that. Their decorations are even synced to festive Halloween music. And check this out, this creepy creature in the window. I'm just waiting for it to pop up now. It looks like it's on fire, an eerie blue. There you see it. Oh. Flames.
Oh boy.
It's chilling. It's a little chilling, right? It's as realistic, I think, as these creepy things go. And they seem to be very popular, Jay and Betsy. I've been seeing these pop up in the spooky houses that we've seen. And so if you want to get in on this trend, you can find them online. They're actually pretty affordable, $25 to $50.
The thing that, so it just projects that image.
Mm-hmm.
It's very realistic.
Spoiler, it's not real.
Well, that's good to know.
I was tricked.
But that's something. I mean, it really looks like there's a ghost in there and he's bursting into flames.
And I think the whole LED light thing, they're onto something, because they could leave those decorations up, flip it to red and green,
and boom.
Take all the tombstones and make them little igloos. You're set with your Christmas decorations.
Genius, you are onto something, Betsy, because those little projector thingies, they come with the Halloween and Christmas decorations.
Now you can have Santa in your house
those
too.
have gotten much better over the last, when they first came out, they were kind of dim and they didn't look real good. Now they look great. The projections are awesome.
Too real.
You go from a zombie to Santa, just the flip of a switch.
Memo to my neighbors, please don't get that spooky ghost that bursts into flames, because I may just call 911. I mean, that's too real for me. I don't like that.
All right.
Thanks, Steph.
Thank you, Steph. Next on What's New, you are so silly. I just can't help but shake my head some days. Our Tech Tuesday has tidbits about the new Google phone and Macbook Pro that techies are certainly going to be interested in.
You know, it's part of my job to keep you entertained. I hope you know that. Plus, our show is something good. Takes us to Strongsville. You're going to love this. This is where a young boy was in need. So he draws strength from his young classmates. It's a great story. It's coming up.
Boots on the ground, still there. I'm gonna make one adjustment real quick, if you don't mind. It's really staticky, but I think this may help, but you may have to boost a little bit on your end. Check 1, 2, 3. Okay, good enough, thanks.
Oh my God, I can't handle the conversation that's happening right now.
Matt and I are talking fitness.
The testosterone in this room is overwhelming.
It's Tech Tuesday, so that's a nice segue into that. We're talking today about what's new in the world of technology. New stuff from two of the biggest companies that we use just about every day. Most of us do, Google and Apple.
Right, well, we're talking the phone side of Google. And first up, Google has unveiled their newest smartphone, the Pixel 6. and Pixel 6 Pro. Now, according to CNBC, the phones are the first to run on a Google Tensor chip rather than a processor. So this is a huge advancement. Google is hoping new features and a new price thanks to that chip, will attract new customers. The chip enables a feature called Magic Eraser that will let users remove items from pictures, like maybe a photo bomber. There's also
or like an X.
I was gonna get, like I said, photo bomber, intended or not. There's also a face unblur feature which removes blurring from a moving object.
Wow.
And it has a feature to block spam calls and more. It also gives more accurate skin tone features. They are well known for their great cameras. The Pixel 6 starts at $599,
okay,
and the Pro starts at $899.
That gets your attention.
I had a Pixel 3, and I absolutely loved the camera on it. I have a Samsung now, and I wish I could go back to the Pixel camera.
People rave about their cameras. I don't know what they're doing in there, but they've got little elves that make better pictures.
And the chip is nice, so it kind of just changes the way that it runs. You know, the processors, they're tiny, and there's a lot of manufacturing costs to the company itself. So I think that's when they have control of that, they can really control it.
Maybe this is revolutionary. Hopefully the other phone prices will come down to compete. Okay, we touched on this a little yesterday. We're going to go back to it, though. We have new details now about Apple's new MacBook Pro. Some tech gurus are praising it, saying that it's giving users everything they've wanted. For starters, you get a larger display, and this is what I love about it. You now have an HDMI port, which means you can plug it right into that flat screen at home. Because a lot of the Apple products, I noticed,
they don't have anything.
They don't have the stream feature so this is big. You also get the SD card slot, the beloved power connector that everybody is so in love with. And the company now has removed an item that has been heavily criticized, and that's the touch bar.
That's the thing on the keyboard?
Yes,
at the
top. They made such a big deal out of that. And when I was buying my last MacBook, I'm like, do I really need that? I don't think I'm going to use it. I went without it. My son went with it. And after about a year, I asked him about it. He goes, honestly, it's kind of a gimmick. Yeah, I didn't like it. And then he had to have his MacBook replaced because some technology in that went bad. So finally, Apple's just like, okay, we tried. We're ditching it.
I don't have any Mac anything. And I every now and then hop on a friend's, thing, except for my iPad. But hop on a friend's computer, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I have no clue.
And the touchpad was
different language.
But it's gone. No more. Okay.
Anyway, well, we have much more on all of that at WKYC.com.
We do. Check it out. Next on What's New, kids are the best. We know that. When one local boy is in need, his young classmates spring into action. This heartwarming story is our Show Us Something Good, and it's next. On this day in history, John Jay was sworn in as the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. What year was he sworn in? Was it 1776, 1789, or 1801? The answer when we come back.
That he would kind of. Hi, Al. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Mitchell, and I'm Lena Lai tonight.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for What Matters Most.
Hey, what's up? Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brandon's microphone. We're going to be talking about the situation unfolding in Haiti right now.
If you're exposed to other people, like if you go out to clubs and whatever, you're risking it.
All right, so the historians in our audience will probably get this. We asked you what year was the first Chief Justice sworn in. Any guesses, Bets?
I'm going to say it took him a little while to get everything put into place, so I'm going to say 1789.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And you're right. You know, I mean, things were just coming together back in 1776, and then they realized, you know, we probably should have this sort of like Supreme Court kind of thing.
It's a different branch,
Yeah.
and it's the way it all works together that is so fascinating, and that's what we've been watching unfold over the last couple of years.
It's been amazing to watch.
All right, today's show is Something Good comes from Strongsville. We'd like to introduce you to Noah. He's a 9-year-old who is a student at Sarar Elementary School. Noah was recently diagnosed with a type of bone cancer, and his treatment will include 28 weeks of chemotherapy and surgery as well as chemotherapy. His classmates decided to cheer him up, and they gave Noah his own Halloween drive-by parade. They all wore their favorite costumes and waved from their cars. Noah, we are all rooting for you. Please keep in touch with us. Let us know how you're doing. We put a link to his GoFundMe account on WKYC.com. Contribute if you can.
The beauty of that story is the heart of youngsters. It's always so pure and in the right place. No one needed a hand, and there they are. And Noah, Betsy's right. We're behind you too, buddy. You can do this. That's going to do it for What Matters Most. We're back tomorrow at 5, and we hope to see you then.
Actually, What Matters Most starts now with Russ and Lena. This was What's New.
Yeah, you're right.
Now at 6, hostages in Haiti.
You don't know when you're going to get shot at. You don't know when you're going to get kidnapped.
As new demands emerge from kidnappers, there are new revelations tonight about what it's like for a group of Ohio-based missionaries desperately waiting to be released from captivity. Also, home on fire. Incredible video of a fire in Canton that left a woman dead. Mixing vaccines.
You really can get any of the vaccines as a booster, and it will work just as well as if you got the original.
It turns out getting different types of COVID vaccines may be the best way to get complete booster protection. Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, explains why. And Baker's decision. The Browns quarterback making it clear that despite a nagging shoulder injury, he's in charge of his fate come Thursday's game.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Lena Lai. Tonight, the search continues for 17 missionary workers who were kidnapped in Haiti over the weekend.
And now the people that took them are demanding a ransom of $1 million per person. Brandon Simmons has an update on what's being done to get them home safely.
It's been 3 days since the start of an international crisis, and now the FBI and State Department have boots on the ground in Haiti, working to rescue 17 missionaries who were kidnapped while returning from an orphanage where they'd been working. And now the gang taking responsibility for the kidnappings wants a $17 million ransom, $1 million per person. Christian Aid Ministries, based in Millersburg in Holmes County, said today those taken include 5 children ranging from 8 months old to 15 years old and 12 adults from ages 18 to 48. A Michigan church minister confirmed 5 of his members are among the missing. They left for Haiti earlier this month, and a source close to the situation tells us at least 2 are from right here in Ohio. Founded in 1981, Christian Aid Ministries works with Amish, Mennonite, and other groups to distribute Christian literature and provide aid, oftentimes in dangerous parts of the world like Yemen and for many years Haiti, where violence has gotten worse in recent months with more than 300 kidnappings in the first 8 months of the year.
It was like ducks in a shooting gallery.
Rex Byers was in Haiti conducting missionary work in 2011 when a group of Haitian bandits tried to rob them while they slept. Byers among 4 people who were shot.
We resisted. They started shooting, then busted out the windows, and it just all hell broke loose. One of the eeriest sounds of that night was when it got silent. And then when the guy said, "Oh my God," I can hear him reloading.
Byers believes he's alive today because of divine protection. And now Christian Aid Ministries is also looking to a higher power to bring all 17 of its missionaries back home safely. Now, according to a Wall Street Journal report, it's very unlikely that the Justice Department in Haiti would be willing to pay that $17 million ransom, and it's very possible that negotiations could last for weeks, if not months, Russ.
Okay, Brandon Simmons, thank you.
Tonight, we are seeing just how intense a deadly fire was that claimed the life of a woman in Canton. Police